Do you think Professor Tangen is right when he says that the United States is trying to goad China into some kind of military conflict?
Yeah, I still, the volume trade between China and the United States is the biggest, volume trade all over the world. More than $600 billion. It's pretty big. This means China and the United States still, prefer or still preferring, trade rather than conflict. But China is of course, it's watching the United States behavior, as my colleague said about Greenland and Gaza, and Panama. So yeah, this is a very aggressive statement by Donald Trump, in terms of taking these lands or is presenting United States as a new empire country. China, of course, is watching what United States is doing. My best understanding that this is kind of words rather than action by United States, in terms of Greenland or Canada or Gaza. But United States is watching China, considering China had the world's second largest military budget at spending of $245 billion. So this is, if you are really spending too much, means that you are really interested in changing the status quo, and this is why United States, really does need to prepare for understanding, the Chinese, behavior in next years. We know that United States define itself as a dominant nation, dominant country. This is the only country can really challenge that for the United States, China. So both of them, of course, under like that paradigm of power transition theory, both of them is a bit ready, to fight each other in near future, but the United States, does see for itself that as a dominant country needs really to take China away from raising its military spending. So this means that China does really need to change the status quo. So this is why United States is preparing for a future by creating alliances. Probably Europe is not really part of that. Probably Europe rejected not to be part of that alliance. So this is why the Defense Secretary of the U.S. moved to Japan, Australia, and other countries in the regions. Probably they can really create a military alliances that can really stop China from it is rising military, particularly. So, but this is on my assessment. I don't think China and the States will fight each other militarily because.
Okay, I want to bring Professor Tangen back in on that. What do you make of what Professor Singer had to say?
Well, in all due deference, I find it hard to kind of follow the logic. His first statement was about this, you only spend money on the military if you're looking to change the status quo. The U.S. spends more than the next 9 nations combined. You can say that China is spending money, but why? They're spending money because the U.S. keeps trying to threaten China. You look at Hong Kong, Tibet, Xinjiang, South China Seas, Taiwan. These are all areas where the U.S. has been trying, in the past, tried regime change, tried to snipe away at China with nonsensical accusations. And this is just par for the course. And don't tell me this, we have to believe the U.S. This is the same U.S. that went to the Philippines, a close ally, continuing. And they spread a malicious rumor that if you took the Chinese COVID vaccine, you would turn into an alligator. Now, they were caught by Reuters. And, what was their answer when they said, you know, you probably were responsible for killing thousands, tens of thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands of people because the mortality rate was very high. Do you feel bad about it? No, because anything we can do to strike out at China is worth it. They didn't consider the deaths of their ally as important. So I don't understand my, my fellow speaker's logic. The U.S. is what it does, and we see numerous examples of that. Let us go back to Gaza, backing Israel in the UN, refusing to allow it to be called out for what it is, threatening the International Criminal Court because they would have the temerity to actually accuse the U.S. just happening. The U.S. is a resurgent global empire that is making might right. And I'm surprised that, you know, coming from the rest of the world, that he doesn't take a more firm stance on what is happening.
Okay, Professor Stinger, let's